but there we go. It started. How far caught up are you on these?
Very much. I know we had the Sorcerer Supreme contest. I know he was doing stuff.
Okay.
But I sort of play up some of the ways that I love to be scripts.
Yeah, that's not. That's yeah. That was kind of a good call, I guess, in a way. But we have kind of glossed over what you and Clea. So you've been paired up. So the Sorcerer Supreme. Do you know what the general gist of the Sorcerer Supreme contest?
It's founded by
Vishanti.
Ashanti.
Yeah. So the Sorcerers.
Unimaginable.
Yeah. So the Sorcerer Supreme contest this time was you got paired up. It was that the wizards got to select a guardian, and they got sent into the other realm, into this Vishanti created realm, and to do the test. The group gathered up as many people they could that they felt like were capable and powerful, so that they could try to fix the odds as partners. Um, so the most of the superhero team is in this competition in the hopes that they will to be able to turn the tables.
And someone will be
That's the goal. Uh, when you all arrived into, so we're gonna breeze through the beginning, and we will start once, and I'm gonna try to move. We're gonna try to move along this pretty quickly. So we'll give general overviews and move along pretty quickly till we're caught up with everybody, and then we'll slow back down if you want. But if you want to, if we can make it through all 7 days, then we're good. So when you got in, they told you the competition is going to be 7 days, and you see the people within, and the people within are the sorcerers, are many of the master wizards in the world.
Yeah.
And there are Delilah, not all of them.
Yeah.
The Vishanti have some sort of selection process; they only allow certain people in, but this is the ones they have picked: Delilah, Aaron, Carnaxa. Carnaxa is Aaron's master, the person who taught Aaron magic.
Okay.
Clea, you know who Clea is.
Yeah. The Doctor Strange's
Doctor Strange's widow. Yeah, she was trained partly in by Doctor Strange, but she learned magic in the Dark Dimension because she is the niece of Dormammu. So she is a master wizard, and was exiled into the real world. Her and Doctor Strange went on adventures together. They defeated and overthrew Dormammu for a period of time. Clea even left to take over his dimension. He came back, overthrew her. Her mother came in, overthrew Dormammu, and then they split the Dark Dimension in two. Clea stayed on Earth. They got married, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago. All right, and then Mago, who is the Italian mage, the from the European Defense Initiative. Dormagus, who is a person you met, I believe, and he is Doctor Strange's most recent apprentice. Doctor Strange has had a number of apprentices. He had Clea first, then he had Delilah, and now he's had Dormagus. And he's apparently a pretty good teacher because all three of them are masters. Then we had Dr. Lancaster, who you remember. Yeah, he's the one that nearly killed Aaron and was his arch nemesis that Aaron forgot about. And then Baron Mordo, who you've watched some of the Doctor Strange movies, so you know who Baron Mordo is. He's Doctor Strange's arch nemesis. Magic, who is a blonde-haired woman trapped in Inferno for a long period of time, became a master there as she trained under demons and took over the dimension. And she's a human from the Cork Academy. She's a teacher there now. She's getting into her 20s. She's in her probably mid 20s. Yeah, I mean, she should be like 5 years younger or something like that. Doctor Doom. I don't think he needs a introduction. Morgan Le Fay, who is a longtime Marvel character, but I think you also know that one. She trained Doctor Doom in magic. Ankra is visible there. Yeah. She was dead, and she was a soul ghost for a while, and she got her body back. We don't know how. We don't know how. Okay, and then there is a person calling themselves Dr. Druid, but we know Dr. Druid to be dead. So, and this woman is a woman, and Dr. Druid was a man. So, there's something going on there. Brother Voodoo. I like Brother Voodoo more than Doctor Voodoo, which is what Marvel changed his name to. It keeps us from having everybody being doctors who's a magician, and I feel like Brother is a Haitian, like that is Haitian voodoo practitioners, like not a term of respect, right? So Brother Voodoo, Phantasma, who I think you know that one, right? And the last one that is there is Proteus. And then I will say there was one more. This is a retcon because I forgot him, but it makes sense for his characterization. Agamemnon is there, and he forgoes his opportunity at the title. So their partners they are then teamed up. There's a bit of a conversation about who is going to team up with who. Daybreak teams up with Delilah, Pangea with Carnaxa, Mago with Gadgeteer. Dr. Lancaster comes in with some Stone Colossus or Metal Colossus. Baron Mordo teams up with some sort of Sand Monster. Dr. Doom with his Guardian Victorious. Morgan Le Fay has teamed up with Mordred. Ankra seems to have teamed up with nobody. Brother Voodoo has teamed up with a massive Vines. Dr. Druid has some sort of mossy earth golem. Phantasma is teamed up with the Red Guardian. And Proteus is teamed up with Atuma, the Atlantean warlord. There's been a conversation about who you're going to be teamed up with, who Wong is going to be teamed up with, and who Autopsy is going to be teamed up with. Aaron is planning to team up with you, but then there's a bit of conversation, and you are sent to be teamed up with Clea. Sort of see if she could help you out with your abilities that you're gaining on, and Autopsy and Aaron worked out pretty well. So, and you were not there at the time, so it helped keep us from having to split as many. Yeah, I'm trying to justify it narratively. Yeah. So Dormagus is considered. Yeah. It's your second chance. Your second chance of redemption. Dormagus and Wong are teamed up. So out of the people, your guys' four big hopes are that the ideal winners in this for you guys are Dormagus, Clea, Aaron, Mago, or Brother Voodoo. Okay, Delilah is too weak, honestly, to be considered a high hope. But she's paired up with Daybreak, which helps her out a lot. Darmagus is considered kind of the weakest of the group. and Brother Voodoo does his own thing. He's never been in part of that group, so he had his own guardian. So it really came down to you, Margot, and Aaron, or Clea, Margot, and Aaron as the three that you guys have a lot of influence on, and that's who they're banking their hopes on. Because the forces arrayed against you are quite potent and dangerous. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, they tell you that the rules of the competition, and that is you're going to be entering into this realm, and you are to protect the realm. The destruction of your realm, or the death of the Sorcerer Supreme of the realm, will result in your termination and loss of the competition. There isn't. The Vishanti will cast spells to protect your life, and a total defeat, even if it doesn't necessarily kill you, does result in a loss as well. So,
So it's just a fight. It's a fight.
it is. You have to protect your realm. Okay, this is what they tell you. So then you guys are whisked away into a portal, and at that, we will start with what you see. And I'll give you some background music. Let's see. Here you go. Uh, so as you step through this portal, in front of you, you see a vast array of empty space. A moment of panic strikes you as yeah, I'm certain Benny knows the limits of his abilities now, and he worries for a second as he tries to hold his breath to keep from suffocation and infinite death. Um, and you look forward and you see a solar system arrayed before you of a vast number of planets. Roll a d6. Okay. The fourth planet from the sun looks to be a lush blue ball. The remaining other planets are various types similar to what you would have seen in the solar system. You have a small system, as there is only you are on the fourth planet. There are only 7 planets in total. Well, you have a moderate-sized system, I suppose. There are only 7 planets in total. And a few gas giants orbit around this central star. Clea looks out, and you could see. You looked over for a second, and you could even see that she didn't look concerned. And perhaps you know her well. She's looks very human. Do you know what she looks like? So, yeah, she then you got a good appearance. She's got white hair, purple robes, human appearance, but she is in fact uh, two halves of two alien creatures, Dark Dimension Being and Faultine, and as such has no real need to breathe. Um, but she does look at she did when you glimpsed over at her. She was looking at you for a moment and like, is he okay? And like had some magic around her hands. But as you scan around, you're floating in this space, and it is small. Is what you feel, and the scale below you is one that is moving quickly. And you feel, and Clea tells you, she says, Benny, this is strange. I believe we are capable of altering this dimension as we see fit. And she kind of snaps her fingers, and you see the planets begin to orbit rapidly as the whole flow of time begins to speed up. And she waves her hand, and from the magical energy that gathers within on her fingertips, a new planet is formed. As you like say, "Wow!" I mean, you look around and you can you try to get a bigger look, and you're speechless, as you said, and you observe quickly and quiet, like instantly. Your eyesight zooms all the way in, and you can see the clouds rolling across the planet on the far distance. And the distance you're able to see is still like everything is small to you, but the planets are still large, and the distances that are unfathomable. Though the planets are larger than possible, but you would be some sort of mountain-sized giant on Earth at this scale. But still, the planets dwarf you, even the smallest of them. And but you look forward across a space of billions of miles, and can watch like a rock tumble down a mountainside. All of your abilities are multiplied by 100. Okay, while you're here, if you face off against somebody else who is from your sort of realm, the real world, then they are back to a normal scale because you guys are on the same power level, right? But like your strength is now class 3000, so you can go over there and juggle planets. Okay. Okay, me too. Yep. You can't let your Sorcerer Supreme die, and you can't, or be defeated, like totally unable to continue, no hope, like a TKO, right? Or let your realm be destroyed.
And so I think that makes sense. Jeez, yeah. I don't know what to say.
She looks at you and says, Benny, what's your Benjamin? Is that what your name is? Uh, yeah. She's gonna operate under the assumption that your name is Benjamin now, and just start calling you that. Um, she says, Benjamin, I don't believe that you need to worry about that. Your job today is to protect me to the best of your abilities. Uh, if you are concerned about your influences upon that burgeoning civilization, and she says that, you look over at the planet, the fourth planet, and your vision zooms in, and you see a Renaissance, late medieval society, Renaissance era society in action. Millions, I'd say hundreds of millions of people. Yes, I, unfortunately, I don't believe Doctor Doom will be the worst of the group. Doctor Doctor Lancaster has a has had a bit of a tendency to seek power for any risk, and I think that his realm will likely survive, but the contents of which will, well, if they're lucky, it'll be only as bad as the dark dimension, my home. So you have two senses of time operating, right? You have a sense of real time, and you have 7 days in this realm, and you have a sense of their time. And she has sped up their time to 8,760 times year rate. And you're also living at that time, so now you have a ton more time in a way. Um, so they're basically they're living at a year every hour. And you, like, as you watch, I mean, I think Vinny watches for 15 minutes and sees, like, cities move, mothers and let go of children, birth and life and death, tragedy and sorrow, and a whole world play out before his very eyes.
I think there's a thing that he says.
Yes, it's been a while. The ones from Uranus? Oh, the Titan ones. She looks curious, but doesn't quite understand what that means.
So we have to. Thanks. There seems like a shame to mess them up.
I will leave that to you. I am sensing a very, very interesting mystical force, Benny. There is something powerful here. Yes. Uh, yes. If you look at the props, there's your planet. Uh, no props. Should show the. I should show a picture. On props. Uh, yep. That's your planet. Okay. Apparently, your planet is also called Dare, which was the name of Carnaxa and planets. Uh, Dare 2. Random name generator gave us 2 planets. Um, well, you say that out loud, and she says, "Well, that is what I'm getting at, Benny. Many of them will not protect or do much of anything except for to use these things as raw materials. They are not the realm. The Sorcerer Supreme responsibilities do not extend to the individuals. Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was quite concerned over everyone who lived on our world, but that is not necessary. It is, in fact, quite unusual. No. And she gestures wide. Beyond this space that you see, the realm of existence is the boundaries of our dimension. Our dimension is a single entity, interconnected and amongst a vast array. Hey, Speed! Amongst a vast array of other dimensions, all in existence. They are more than the sum of the contents of which. It is a glass of sorts. And even space itself, reality itself, is but liquid within it. Now, she nods. He will likely try to eventually. But he, in his realm, or in perhaps Baron Mordo's realm, they may have take over these planets, and they have days to live here. And at this accelerated time, They may choose to indulge themselves as gods amongst mortals. Or they may, in a sick display, to use them for twisted experiments in the hopes of gaining an advantage over another. Or they may dissolve the very essences of this world and use it to empower themselves. This realm, as in all realms, are a combination of laws of which your kind call science and the rules of magic, the very energy that binds reality together. And you could undo the very essence of a plane and drain it of its abilities, drain it of its magic, but yet keep the shell of what it was. And I will not be, nor do I have any desire to even play pretend. And roll intuition. You can't roll in the props channel. Okay, and you hear her mutter under her breath, if this even be pretend. She says it quietly. As she stares towards the very center of the place where your son sits. And she continues, having said, I have no interest in even playing pretend tyrant, nor do I want to see even these things be destroyed on our whims. If that is your intention, then I don't believe Stefan would have kept a relationship with you if that was the case, but I am going to go investigate this. And she gestures over to the side and she says, you need to first get used to the magical energies here. You have learned a few spells in preparation of this. So you should, it is day one, you should be able to use the energies similar to me. Tap into the magic and look outside this realm. You need to make a... Just say something, Speed. Yes. Okay. So... That's fine. I was thinking about inviting people, but I was like, it's fine. If you want and we get into a fight, you can play Clea. So, anyways. Uh, what was I saying? Yes. So you need to make a psyche roll. You're struggling. You can't do what she says. You do feel you can easily pull magical energy in a way that you were never able to tap into. You feel like there's a massive warm blanket wrapping around everything. It's something you weren't able to feel before. Before you could feel just a small torch fire of energy within yourself. And now you realize there's a vast amount of energy all around you, and you try to tap into it, and you look out and you hit some sort of barrier, but you know that's not what she's talking about. And she's gone. She is flown into the sun. Sure. We're gonna say that. We're gonna say that takes you a little bit of time, but we're not jumping forward yet. Yep. There are. You describe what happened, right? And she says you're reaching the edge of the world of our dimension, but this is the material realm. Look outside of it within our dimension. Try again, and I'll give you +1 CS for that vague advice. So you are able to do it again and look out, and as you do, you see that there is a realm surrounding near yours of this like heavenly glade, of which a number of uh, godlike beings seem to sit there. They are little more than you can feel it. You could feel how easy it would be to destroy them. How far they are below you, uh, and but you're able to see them. They're there, and you also see another realm around this one. Your vision is expanded, and what you thought was the whole world, you realize there's a vast amount of space. Of the only way it could be described as space in this dimension, and there is a hell. There's a heaven and a hell. And while you activate your telepathy again, you hear um, a cacophony of intrusions into your mind, and you're easily able to tune them out. But this time, you catch them for a second, and you hear millions of voices. Some praying for assistance, some just thinking, some and you hear tens of millions of thoughts for a second, and it doesn't overwhelm you. You parse them instantaneously. Yes. It's real in ours. and as you and as you say that, you're looking at the infinite torment being dealt out to some poor souls, and you see in the heaven realm energies being gifted down to worshippers, and even like some people being whisked away into a sub dimension within their sub dimension.
I suppose if I ever need disciples,
We, in, is do what you think is best for us. We must win, but do not sacrifice everything for power. It can be tempting, Benjamin.
you know,
But trust me, I've lived millennia, and you will gain no happiness from that. Doctor Strange, Stefan, my husband, thought very well of you, and I am trying to do the same. Stefan thought so, and and as you say that, you have a thought in your mind, and you realize that you can expand yourself and shrink too. And for a second, you have that question as you stand on top of a mountaintop the same size as all these people.
sure. I just treat myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're the size of all of these people now. And then you go back up.
So it's like, I would like to like,
This is more to this than I believe there are. The field around us is by the Vishanti. It is strong and will be unable to be broken even by another wizard, sorcerer, unless they are more powerful than the Vishanti themselves. In which case, no, around our dimension. But it seems likely. Though I must say, and you hear kind of a smirk. I'm quite confident in my power. I don't believe there is anyone here that can overpower me. Huh? Yes. How the results will be will depend much upon you.
yeah.
I am a I am a master sorcerer. If I was not confident, I would be dead. Now, please, I am trying to parse what is here. Can I have a moment? Your constant thoughts are intruding. So, Benny, you're in an interesting situation, as you have no real powers that could modify the reality that everybody sees. Your only real ability would be to take your sword and slice through all of reality, right? Like you could be the ultimate destroyer and recover from all of their paltry attempts to kill you. Some sort of ultimate terror. but you can read their thoughts, so you could even like come down and answer prayers, but um, you can't like Pangea can build planets or castles, and Aaron and Autopsy has shadow powers that he can manipulate the very reality of darkness. And Daybreak can give and said, "Let there be light," right? So, but you need to figure out what you're gonna do. You've got time. Yeah, I mean, you are able to move mountains with a finger flick, and you do have some ability to do magic. I mean, you can predict that your future telling ability is amazing now. Um, yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So any wound or any injury that comes in, or I mean, you can even think about it as what would regeneration at that level actually be able to do. So I mean, the your abilities work at a cosmic level now. Yeah, at this rank, you're just able to control your regeneration and have it do whatever you wish. Yeah. I mean, you should think of it as the ability to consciously control your regeneration, and and that it can do just about anything you could conceivably imagine regeneration doing. That's what class 5. That so when you're in the classes, right? A class of strength, you're able to grab molecules and compress them together to make stars. You know what I mean? Like in a class, like class 3,000, 1,000 fighting, you're able to make punches before the other person even knows they're going to be in a fight. Right? You're so good at fighting that you can strike before the other person thinks about fighting. Um, at class 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, you are beyond mortal comprehension in those abilities. So like your telepathy, um, you can just turn on and off anyone's minds you desire. You can reflect. You could just wipe out all of these three realities and just say you're done, 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 done. One snap of your fingers, nobody thinks anymore, right? You can communicate with everybody in across dimensions, right? You can communicate to the people that the gods have already taken up and put into heaven, and the gods are shift in the shift ranks, or and maybe the head god might have one ability at class 1,000, right? And then no, right? Because he's going to be able to do 10 points of damage to you. So if we get in a normal fight, he would have about 25 hit points and would be able to hit you for 10 points of damage. And you would be your normal self. The, these normal people do less than a fraction of 1 point of damage. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about anybody here. The mental barrier is your personal barrier. Yeah, nobody in this realm, nobody in this reality can read your mind or reach out to you unless you allow it. I would say mental barrier doesn't work that way. Well, what's the rank? So it would be class 3,000. Yeah, I would say yeah, sure. You can apply to other people. No, it would fortify the minds though from insanity, I guess. You could but your telepathy, you could make them blind to it. You could make their brains unable to recognize what's happening. No, foretelling with future knowledge. And at that rank, you have literal precognition of what's going on. But it's limited to your dimension, right? Your foretelling at the scale of you is your normal rank, right? So you can tell what would be I would say you could probably tell what the results would be of some actions taken within your dimension. It could give you my initial reaction of what will be the result. It may go further than that, right? But for that's I mean everybody, you quickly find out that these people seem to have some sort of free will, and that you're foretelling. Yes. It changes sometimes, but it's very accurate, especially initially. What do you know? Yeah, the sword is a class 5,000, so it can cut. It can. It does no. You don't. Not. It's not planets. It can cut through the fabric of reality at that level. So if you want to jump between dimensions, I would say you have a sharp enough weapon to cut through dimensions. That would be between yours and the heaven realm and yours and the earth and the hell realm.
So I think to start, anything strong is easy.
Using us in a great game. You got to tell me if you want to use foretelling, okay? You watch a few more years pass on on those planets. Okay, and he's trying to make a duplicate of himself. Okay, it happens. It cuts, and a version of you appears. It's almost instantaneous. It looks at you and says, "Oh, how did I? How did I get here? Yeah. What worked? Who are you? Wait a minute. What's going on?" As he looks around, where are my clothes? Who are you? Uh, Benjamin Barton. Standing here in naked in his face as he looks around. He looks down and says, "Oh, you know what? I'll just go get one." And he shrinks down and walks over there and busts through a window and grabs some clothes. One of those people come over. "Hey, you're robbing my shop. What are you doing?" And he looks at him and just boom. And they're incinerated as he walks back up to you and gets the big size. What's wrong? What's wrong? I got close. Any? Who? Who are you? Oh, Ben. Oh, your name's Benny. Nice to meet you. I guess. I don't think. I. What is that supposed to mean? Oh. Hmm. I don't really think that's the. Or how do you know you're not the clone of me? It doesn't feel like a simulation.
Yeah.
He goes, well, so then I can regenerate? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you don't.
And he shrinks back down, just ignoring you, and like goes back over to that person. There's like a guard sitting over there. Oh my god, did you see that? As they're looking at the massive red spray that just scattered across the town. And he walks over and he pushes the guard over. The handprint sinks into his chest, and he takes the sword from him, and he goes as he starts to swing for his hand. No, I was giving you the chance to stop him if you want. Yeah, the first actions are so fast. Like he moves in, as fast as you, right? So he gets down there and then he goes like this. He's not even trying to kill the guy, but he just doesn't have any control. Unlike the first person where he just like hit him away because they were annoying him. This person he's just pushes away and the palm print crushes his chest. And he looks over and he's like, "Oh, sorry. Feels right. I feel like I'm supposed to say that." And he takes the sword and then he's about to chop his hand off. Okay, so he'll say make a fighting roll as he goes to push that guy. You jump in there and then you get in front of it and you like boom palm strike against each other and there's a seismic wave that flattens a couple buildings around you, and everyone goes oh God, save us, and they drop down to their knees, and that guy's like holding his chest. And you know what? We'll say your foretelling told you what was about to happen, and you saw another Benny in your mind. You saw another Benny appear on the ground next to him. I don't know why. Just let me do what I was going to do. You said I can have power. I have some regeneration powers. Why do I have to listen to you? So, what's your mental barrier rank? And so when you say crash course, I assume you're like going to telepathically beam him what it means to be empathetic to others, and yeah. So what's your telepathy rank? It crashes against a mental barrier and to no effect. And he looks at you and he's like, "What did you just do to my head?" And you suddenly feel something else strike against your head, your telepathic barrier, and crash uselessly against you. As you see them bow down, they're praying. They're like, "Please save us, gods!" And there's like, they're like, "That was the one that killed him. They're twin gods, evil and good." And he looks back and he looks at them and he says, "So, I mean, look at them. They're really nothing much to us." Did you? I mean, I didn't even mean to, and that person just burst apart.
Are you just like wondering, or like at least like, this is not right? Like,
This is this is some sort of thing that has Benny Best's body and material, but doesn't have uh, anything else. Uh, Because the regeneration level is so high, they didn't become like a comatose, incapable person. But yeah. Well, I mean, if you take this person and raise them up, maybe right. But right now, you released. I mean, you've got an infant. Not even an infant. You've got a capable and intelligent person, fairly intelligent person without any moral system, concept of what's going on beyond the basic concepts of language, in an ant farm. And I mean, he doesn't have any conceptions of what these of any innate value that people have. So. And he looks around after he says that, and he's like, "Oh, look, there's actual ants." As he looks down at it, he says, "What else can we do?" You're peeing in your brain, Benny. Why is there two of you? He looks at you. He's like, "You have a boss? Why? How can you have a boss? Seems like we could just do whatever we want." And he closes his eyes and like puts the hand up, and like starts to reach out telepathically. uh, and then he looks at them and he seems to be he mouths a couple words, and then he realizes he doesn't have to do that to talk mentally. Um, and he says, "She uh, seems to want to tell me what to do." He looks at the two of you. Looks at you and kind of looks up. Everybody else is like watching, listening. You've got a pretty large crowd as they're like pulling people from the rubble of the collapsed buildings.
retreat from this place.
Like a mind control or like a communication. Many of them like look shocked, look at each other, and then back away. And he looks at you and says, "Why'd you do that?" As his brows furrow. I think I think you just wanna control me, make me do what you want. Is that it? Clea appears into your pops into your mind. We could trap him in an alternate dimension, tie him to that realm.
Okay, well,
That's what Clea says. Yes. And he's like, well, he looks around. That's fine. I don't really care.
yeah.
As he hears what your deal is, don't hurt people. Don't clone yourself.
Yeah. Um, okay, actually,
Are you trying? So Clea is asking you. She does. She's saying it like she can do that with or without his desires. Okay. So make a personality roll. You just need a green. This should be easy. He has no ability. And Clea says, Benny, it's these realms are not going to be the most pleasant places. His powers are yours. He'll have whatever realm we build, which will be a fundamental force in this reality from now on, shaped by its master. Benny won, I guess, is willing to take the deal too. He seemed pretty hesitant about this base thing. He's pretty wary of you, and he has the feeling that he quickly came to the realization that if it comes down to it, you've got a sword. He's got nothing. Clea's some sort of magic person, some sort of boss person. So he's willing to take the original deal, but he seems pretty hesitant about this base thing. But make that personality roll. Well, roll it and then decide. Okay, he goes, okay. I guess that sounds okay, I think. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, what's going to be in this space? Well, I mean, we need some. We could use some other dimensions. Maybe a dream dimension would be best for him, but I don't know what that would come out as. So, basically, you remember how I told you there's a heaven and hell? Clea's offering to make a realm like that. She said she lists off a couple dimensions. All right, she lists off a couple dimensions, but it's like heaven or hell that you've seen already. So, like a the forbidden dimension, or the dimension of the Shadow Queen, the dimension of time, and she sends you a vision of those. And one is like an empty space with Roald Dahl clocks melting everywhere. And the Shadow Queen dimension is like, it would be the Shadow King dimension. It's just a realm of darkness and shadows and kind of misery. And the dimension of dreams is the realm of nightmares, really. He goes, yeah. She's like, wait, I've got it. Phase world. We could use a phase dimension. No, phase. Phase. It will allow us to, or perhaps even people in this world, if we allow them access to the magical abilities, to pass between solid objects with ease. We could tap into its energies and maybe even... I'll think about that. But it would be useful, I think. I'm not making a land with more sentience for your clone to torment. For how long? What happens when he's deceived by one of these fairies and his cupcake is stolen? Most of the dimensions suck. Do you want me to read you the whole list?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's god dimensions, but we don't. You would have to make some gods. And Clea might be able to do it, but she's not. She would probably need to kidnap humans and transform them. Astral plane, nothing. It's a gray verge scale version of this world where you can't interact with anything. The dark dimension. It's the realm of darkness, floating chunks of the former dimensions. It's devoured there. The dimensions of demons. It's a horrible torture realm. Dimension of dreams. It's derived from the dreams of other dimensional sleepers. Ruled in our world, ruled by nightmare. And it is a realm. It might be not the worst, but it's usually nightmares kind of stuff. Shadow Queen. It's a small pocket dimension. No, I'm reading from the magic book. The Shadow Queens seems some duplicate Earth thing. I don't know what that is. Time dimension. Huge clock faces where time can be altered dramatically. Dweller dimension, that's the dweller in the dark. It's a horror dimension. Earth, that's the main one. Forbidden dimensions, that's forbidden. Obviously, we don't know what's in there. Hyperspace, it's a warp dimension where space is compressed. It's closely tied to the main dimension. There's nothing there. Limbo is a demon dimension. Or it can be some sort of time travel dimension. You could trap him in a dimension that could be only one person and maybe make a small planet or something in there. But that's not a dimension. Well, I don't know. You don't know what'll happen there. Negative zone. That's an antimatter zone where nothing exists. And he goes, "I'm gonna be living in dreams." I don't know what that's like. He doesn't seem too keen on it. He never fallen asleep yet, so. But he's like, if you say so, you're not. Well, I mean, you're trying to stop me from doing stuff, and I haven't even got to do anything. All I. Okay. Okay. See, you got it. You convinced him. He's in on it. And Clea appears, teleports you guys out into space, uh, and weaves a spell, of which sucks this other Benny away. Uh, sure. I think I'll get one. And he's then pulled away.
Yeah.
And you observe and you see a realm of dreams appear. And then you see a realm of up here, like out in the. So you're observing like the cosmology appear, and as Clea creates one realm, another realm forms itself. And this realm, as you peer into it, seems to be made of like a crystal clear liquid, of which you can see through it and into other places. And you see what is there. And it's different from what is in the reality, but it feels real. It's hard to figure out what exactly that realm has become. And you see Benny in this realm, and it's in the Benny 1 in this realm, and you see the realm explode into a mix of horrors and brilliant dreams, and they are. It is a burst of light and sound activity, and it is insanely ever changing, and you lose him in it. Yeah, you think you could probably find him, but you also can tell that you can feel his very essence tied to that realm, and that the only way to allow him to escape from it would be to destroy the realm, which, with his abilities, he may be able to do even himself. Yeah. Benny, you have the ability to tell what the future of your actions are going to be. You need to use it. Well, I suppose, but doesn't your regeneration create new cells to replace it? I mean, you don't heal by reabsorbing your old. No, he has your arm. Well, I heard tales that you've had a whole arm incinerated to nothingness. It is your soul and experiences that make you yourself, and that person has neither, as both of them are shaped from each other. If he comes out sane, he could be useful. As she disappears. If you think about doing it again, perhaps we can prepare in advance. I have an idea. If you, it is a bit risky to release another one of you. What if he is not as docile as this one? But if you want to go through with it, then think about us putting a limitation on this individual and watching as he grows. Otherwise, without interactions with other people, I think there will be. No, I'm sorry. I didn't. Yeah. It's one of our comic series. I've only been on your Earth for less than. I suppose we're almost pushing 10 years now. Seems like a great idea. She laughs. 50 to 75% joking. Yes. Well, they're living their life at their normal speed. As you look down there, you see days pass within seconds. They go through whole days, right? 24 hours passes in a blink of an eye, and then
You're literally you're you're you're. It's like when you have one of those video games and you can click the arrows to speed up instead of time. Yeah.
So, so you could, you
While you guys are having this debate, you are hearing prayers start to intrude into your mental thoughts.
could,
Yes. Yes. It's risky, but we can put certain limitations upon it, and with uh, certain magics, and if we create a time dimension, then we could start them as a child. Yes, but I want you to know this person here, and she gestures towards the dream dimension, is as powerful as any of our enemies, and is living in a realm of madness. That's the best case scenario we had.
yeah.
It's your choice. These duplicates of you are tied to this dimension. They won't be able to survive outside of it. Or our cataclysmic struggle will end all of this reality. It's your choice. I just want you to be aware of it. Okay, you spend most of the remaining of that day in the real world doing that. At the end of that day, a crack appears in your dimension, and you are all called forward to face off against a horde of demons that come rushing through. You and Kalia are able to defend them well. They're not very powerful, but they're infinite almost, and you hold them off long enough until the barrier seals. Minor wounds on Clea, yours are healed quickly. I mean, they do damage at a normal scale, and you heal at a normal scale from their wounds. Um, but or make a roll, D100 fighting roll. Depending on how well you did, we'll see if there's devastation on your world. Okay. You look back on your world after it is done, and it was heavily affected. They had no ability to defend themselves from the assaults, and the demons that escaped. Hundreds of them are present on the world, still causing mass devastation. Clea was trying to figure out something in the middle and wasn't able to do much with this world, and you were searching for potential
parents. So they are heavily damaged by the time, and the demons are still there.
Yeah.
What do you? Yeah. So they were weak to you. They were doing like 5-10 points of damage each, maybe. Um, but they are able to destroy mountains. You know. Yeah, they could sink island. They can sink islands and crush continent. You know, kind of stuff. So what do you? No, none of them are enter out of the material realm.
Um, so,
What do you? Do you just gonna let it go and let the demon stay, or are you gonna go in there and intervene? Yeah. Clea is on her way as well. I assume. Yeah. So you guys go and clean it up together. By the time you get there and clean the remaining demons out, the plate probably 10% of the population has been wiped out. Uh, well, what's the plan? Clea says is you wipe out the last of the demons.
you grow some more bees and place them somewhere where you know, so, what do you think?
I'm trusting you on this one, is what I think. But I don't feel confident in it. What has your foretelling told you? There's the planet in props on day 2. White parts are sparsely or no inhabitants.
Okay, so this is actually what I want to read more on this
Okay, roll your foretelling.
Yeah.
So the foretelling roll is gonna determine how far out you can see on this, right? So is that a yellow?
Yes.
Okay. You have by the middle of day 2, you've finally found somebody you think it would be a good option, and you use your ability, your foretelling, you cast your spell, and as you observe, you watch it, and the duplicate seems to go well. He ages up well, happy. His
still impressive powers, but severely limited by Clea's spell, are more than enough. Are used appropriately, and he goes undiscovered well into his preteen years, where the vision becomes blurry and blurrier and blurrier. Roll a D. You said there were 17 countries?
I think so, yeah. 20,
No, just roll a D17. 18. There's 18.
yeah, it's not like 1d18 and 1d20.
I got a 1D18 for a 4.
Oh, why? Oh, because I'm trying to
Ah, okay. So, do you want to use? You want to roll
roll 1.
a 1?
Yeah.
You are in the. You place him in the devastated country of the Ruronian Empire
Oh, wow.
on the north side, the frozen north of the western continent. It was almost twice the size formerly and much greater population before the demons wiped out the eastern half of the country. His parents are refugees from the eastern half. They are, yeah, yeah. They were when your foretelling told you that they would soon move to a farm that they were going to get from where they are resettling people into the devastated areas. Yeah, and they are refugees in the large city there, and then they and within before in an hour or two, so a year, 2 years, as the kid is growing up and he's starting to walk, uh, they he is. So you can open that in Asgard's map generator and then zoom in on anything you would like. So they are in the city of Kikarium. Okay, and they have named him. Um, they have named him. Dun, 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 Vulcan. Wait, were you? Was that what your name was when you were? Oh yeah. So they've named him Vulcan, and he is starting to walk around. He shows incredible strength. In this, so you're class 5,000 or 3,000 strength, and he's showing uh, probably spectacular strength as a 2-year-old. Um, but I think the infinite in the basket scenario works out better. Yeah. You have a vision that if they are made aware of what they find instantly, they would tell someone, and the child would be taken by the state. And then you see the world burn as the Ronin Empire conquers all. So Oh, you're doing another one? Roll foretelling as you spend the remainder of day 2. Thanks to the time that you've given Clea, she telepathically contacts you, and I'm going to message you privately. That way, Josh doesn't know what I'm about to say. but you get a message telepathically. No big deal. What's your username again? Oh, there it is. Jolly. That is the message you get. Yeah. Okay. So with that knowledge in hand, you go to chop your thumb off. Okay. Okay. Vulcan, by the time you chop off your pointer finger, Vulcan is 16 years old. And he is being a bit rebellious to his parents. Very respectful, though, and he has a great control of his abilities. You notice the grandfather figure is walking with a severe limp, though. And when you hear a conversation with that, he's like, "You gotta remember, like, don't be careful with your power around others, or that you could hurt them like you did me." And pats the kid on the shoulder. He's like, "I'm sorry, Grandpa." Yep. You're gonna seed 2 of them together. Oh. Okay. Make your foretelling roll. Wow. Oh. So, you've picked out the person, and you see that the future will be good, but for a period of time. and your vision goes through their childhood to the first 5 years. You put them on the protected how about the protected island nation of one of those ones down at the bottom, Castanzia,
Yeah.
and you can pick somewhere else if you want to pick somewhere.
Let's see. Yeah. No, let's go on Mars. Right. Let's go with the sorcerers.
Okay, roll a 10. Roll a d10. 10.
No, actually, what he's talking I like to know
Okay. Okay, you put him in a loving and powerful merchant family.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah, in Castanzia, and you see that he will do well there. And you're a bit hesitant because of the length of time you've had um, to observe when a massive tendril rips through the outer realms of the dimension and threatens to destroy all of reality, all your whole dimension this time, not just the inhabitants. And you and Clea rush to action again. Roll a fighting roll again. Dude, this one has. We picked another Roman name place. His name is Gaius. You got a red. Okay, you guys successfully and overwhelmingly defeat the creature before it can harm anyone. Okay, and as that day comes to an end, you look back and you see Vulcan has become 24 years old and seems to have, yeah, and he is a fully mature person and uh, trying to come to grips with what his role in this world should be. Um, Training with weaponry, so like a knight, in the hopes that he'll be ready to face off against demons. In a yeah, and he is being trained by this group of demon hunters who successfully slayed 2 demons in the demon invasion. Yeah. If he had rolled a white, he was going to be a starfish. Autopsy got starfished fighting that guy, but Benny criticaled, so it went well. Okay, so the next day begins, and see ya. And about 8 to 10 hours pass for you, which puts Gaius is about 10 years old. Benny's stopped aging in his 30s, and is taken up a position as the head of the Demon Hunters Guild. And you notice that he is actually hunting demons. apparently, as you were looking and searching for humans to give new bennies to, you realize there some people have learned dark magic from the Hell realm and started to summon demons into the world. Yes. So their max capabilities are unearthly, so they could deal 1 point of damage to you. Yeah, Vulcan is full Superman. They Clea weakened him, but he still seems to be in the high shifts, maybe even potentially higher. Gaius is 10 and seems to be growing up well, very smart and educated, and doesn't seem to be doing much of note otherwise, but that's not too unusual for a child. It's gone crazier, and are you really observing? Okay, I need you to make a psyche roll. You're able to push your way in, but the barrier is stronger. He seems to be more powerful than you as he tries to prohibit your entrance. And he says, I'm the dream dweller, none can enter the realm of dreams. As he speaks in strange tones, and madness floods into your brain. It's you, Benny Prime. It's you, isn't it? It's been a very long time. So long, Benny. So long. I've seen your dreams. Then there's an echoing laughter into your mind, and as you shut that off, you close your eyes for a second, and there are like lucid dreams dancing through your eyes, and then you shake your head and you push them away. And Cleo says, any entity is more powerful when you trespass on their realm. He is you, but with an improvement. So he's +1 CS of you and everything if you enter the dream realm. And he has the ability to dream travel now. He seems quite benevolent for a dream entity. Yes, normally they are trying to make the world a living nightmare, and is my experience. Yes, they do seem to be coming every evening at midnight. Sure.
Okay. So you pick one of those massive mountains. Your world has these gigantic mountains that run as the spine of both continents, which is pretty cool because none of the other places had giant mountains like that. That's those ice blobs. So you pick the tallest mountain on the continent, on the western continent, and what do you want? Yeah, it hit it and it pushed it wrecked the mountains around it and pushed up the the center, right? And it so they've become even taller. Um, and they call it the thrust of the evil god. And it's in that mythology of your first duplicate, and you and your other duplicate are known as the prime pantheon in this realm, above the supreme gods above the ones in the heaven realm. Uh, I suppose we should keep a proper amount of respect and deference between us. So at least he tried to rebel, which I don't. It seems harsh to be so concerned over our position, but I must make it clear my current concern is not over this realm but ours. Though I don't wish to see them injured. No, this world and our world, yes. Well, my concern is our world, but I wish to do as good as we can for these ones. I have come up with an idea that I think I will work on today. A magical defense, um, auras that will burn intruders. We can activate the very the remnant uh, intelligence of the creator of this realm, the eternity, yes, and have them work in our defense. Thank you. It seems as though this one is going quite well. I'm pretty glad of that. Where's your other one? Why can't I find him? No. Nope. And as you say that, Vulcan lands, and there's like a divine light. These people are channeling power from the gods uh, to protect them as he leaps here with carrying an orb that holds them. His companions. He brought the four greatest heroes of this realm with him. We will. We'll just. You know what? We'll just go all in on this. It is Diana, Minerva, Jupiter, and Mars. He goes, "What? Who are you, and how do you speak to me so?" He doesn't seem to have learned access to his telepathy or his spells. They look at him like, what a strange name. And the older one, Jupiter, says, "Wait, I've seen a statue of you. You and your twin. You're the gods." As he shouts. He is, as one of them says, she is the sibling of the dream dweller. And Vulcan said, they like drop down onto their knees and bow. And they're like, we're sorry, my lord.
No.
They listen and say, thank you. He has aided us greatly so far. We thank you for the gift of him. And he looks around like a little confused and just doesn't say much. She Clea stops you. She says, "Hold on. You." And she points at the eldest, the older man, the one who was called Jupiter. "You have great potential as a sorcerer. I will train him." And she says, "Why would they not be? It is their realm. It is their lives, their families. If we have 1 year for every hour. There is other things we could do, but if this could help keep them alive, if he can pass on this knowledge to others, and you're confident in this one as your clone." Cleo's like, what are you talking about?" This is, you're going to give a child to someone who is constantly at war? And no child. Benny, I think well, I've left this to you. It's your decision. All I need is this realm to survive. If you want to spew godlike beings around and the dozens, then It's your decision. This one is Vulcan has enough power to rupture this realm.
Yeah.
He just has not learned to tap into it all.
Yeah. So,
They say, "What do you mean, apparent?" He looks around nervously. Looks over at looks over at Diana and has eyes wide and he shakes his head no.
I can trust you're alone. Someone who may have both its potential, but they must be guided along the path. Or, well, you've seen how my brother is.
They say, he says, whatever you say, Benny Prime, my lord. Whatever you want to do, man. Uh,
Let's keep it.
destroy the whole universe easily by themselves. Yes, that's how powerful you are. You've already let 3 of these guys out who could all end the game for you. They're more powerful than anybody could have any right to be. Right? Yeah, you're gonna have to roll good on this if you're gonna let. How many? Wait, you need to tell me how many you're letting out first. How many cats you're letting out of the bag? Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can do triples if you want. Makes the foretelling harder, but. Okay. Ooh, excellent. That's a yellow. Okay, so with that, you foretell, and they seem to be raised well. The 2 of them don't get along so great, but they seem to do care about each other. The uh, They are left in the care of the monks often, is what you see through their early childhood. The Order of Vampire Slayers, and they're raised to be used warriors. But the branches start to fork very rapidly, and you lose sight of the vision by the time they're 6. And one thing the vision does tell you, because you did pretty well on this despite needing a really good roll, is that the world seems to just be sown more and more into chaos as time goes on. And their protectors are drawn out more and more. But you don't, the sense is that it's not they interpret it as the signs that the apocalypse is coming, not as if it is the apocalypse. Okay, so you're doing it? and 7. Okay. 9 is crazy. Okay. Okay. What do you want to name? You gave him names, you said? Okay. They say, he looks at them and says, then I will name you. Da, 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 da. There we go. Antonius and Fabricia. Seneca. We'll call you Antonius and Seneca. Okay. So you and Clea take your leave. Jupiter's taken with Clea, who trains him while she works on those magical spells. Okay. Roll a reason roll at your normal rank. Okay, you track him down as best as you can, and you find that he has moved from the country, and he has seemed to have developed his mental skills specifically more so than the other. Though he's quite capable physically. And by the time you finish that up, he is about 17 or so. 16, 17. He's moving, very active at a young age. The and he moved from the country and into the out to Amphitos. So he crossed most of the world. Actually, it would be a massive journey. It turns out his parents have passed. It appears to have been some sort of demonic sickness. And while you're searching, you find that there are cabals of demon worshippers all across the planet. They have soaked into the underbelly of this world so thoroughly it is saturated with them. There's very few people that can really challenge their power other than the one order of demon hunters, and the corruption is deep within this place.
Right. And this is outside human destruction, not the hell.
This is the hell of your world.
Oh, okay. So I don't know this. Logic needs to stop happening somehow. And then because of it,
Yep, and started summoning the ones from your world.
yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily that makes sense.
Yes. And it's all of the horrors of demon worshipping.
Yeah.
You as you're like traveling along though, You look back. It takes you a couple hours, so a couple years, to track that down. You look back. Antonius and Seneca are growing up in the monastery. What? Okay, so Benny 1 is Dream Dweller. Benny 2 is Vulcan. Benny 3 is Gaius. Benny 4. Yeah, you don't find him. No, the last. You did not. He matched you. That was the last place you know you went. I rolled a 76. Doesn't have your stats. They were raised by somebody else and had different interests. Maybe I don't. Well, I mean, let's hope he doesn't have too many dreams, because your brother might visit him. You look over at Antonius and Seneca, though. They're growing up pretty well in the monastery. Vulcan and Diana have gotten married. And they seem to go along well. Seneca is quite the follower to his brother, Antonius, who is very showing a lot of bravery at a young age. You're about midway through the fourth day. The third day. And Jupiter will be teleported back pretty soon as a master of magic. Clea has made him the Sorcerer Supreme of this realm. Okay, so you wait a couple more hours. Okay, so your world is pretty much a kind of like one of those like dystopian games that you liked, right? Where the secret, like that one where you were telling me about the vampires like ruling the world and everything. But this time it's demon worshippers that like rule everything, and they're kind of keeping it a secret. But there's a lot of kings that or local lords that bring in young maidens and sacrifice them after having their way with them for powers from the devil, right? Yeah. Yes. And, if you destroy hell, uh, it will spill into the material world. You can't destroy a dimension after it's been created. You can replace the owner with somebody else, but the stuff that is that realm has to go somewhere.
The cloning is ridiculously powerful because they're close to. I'm going to say they're close to your level. They didn't get all the way up there, except for the Dream Dweller, right? Uh, but they are so dangerous to people, other people coming in, that they are basically. Just imagine that they have every one of your abilities at least at 30. And none of them know your spells except for the Dream Dweller. And that's because all of them were born as children who were incapable of speech and all that, right? And the Dream Dweller also got your skills, technically, but so yep. What are you thinking? So you make a new god realm and make the bennies live in it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You put all the bennies up there. Yeah. Well, okay, so here's the problem. Once somebody's stuck in a dimension, they can't enter the material realm anymore. No, you can't. You can't. You can't just like warp people in and out, right? No, not unless they have that power, which they don't. So you would have to figure out a way for them to be basically summoned by powerful wizards in and out. Um, and yeah, yeah. But I would also point out that all of your bennies are more powerful than yes. So while you're contemplating this plan, a couple hours pass. Jupiter arrives. He is going to set up a school of magic, selecting the worthy, uh, and he says, "I'm sorry, uh, Benny Prime, but I have been tasked by Clea to do this, and I must complete it. It will. I have many people to teach if they're to learn magic, as opposed and set them to oppose these demon worshippers that have killed so many." As he looks sadly off into the distance, clearly the victim of these evildoers. She says, what demons? We just need needs they need the ability to protect themselves when this place is invaded again. What do you mean demons? Did we miss some or as you like are watching the place, it's
quite bad. The famines are rough. The starvation is bad. The population is going down. So, what are you going to do now? Yeah, it doesn't help you. He's got very close to the equivalent of all of your powers. If you can't hide from your own tracking skill, I mean, he's probably about 20 now. Seneca and Antonius. As you say that, and it's coming to the last few hours of the day, Seneca and Antonius are like 12, and you look over there and you see a scene where you see Seneca has a sword and he has stabbed his brother and killed him. Antonius drops forward dead, and he looks off in the distance, and he says something to somebody as he looks around really nervously. Yep. Yep. And he flees. Okay, I need you to make a roll for your intuition. Nice. He slips away quickly. Someone seems to be telling this young child how to use his ability to the best of his abilities, but you track him down quickly and find him in a basement of um, a abandoned church. This realm starved to death after the demon worshiper sacrificed too many of the peasants to able to continue to harvest the crops. And this is a church to the twin brothers. And as he comes into it's a church to the prime brother is what they call him. And he is Seneca killed Antonius. And he looks at you as his eyes go wide, and he says, he told me you would come for me. He said he could help me. Help! Brother, you said that this was what I was supposed to do, that it was my destiny. As he looks around, and then a figure steps out from behind him, and he's like, blah, blah, blah. He starts to speak in strange words, and he's like, and as it's some sort of incantation. What do you want to do? It isn't. It isn't. It's not magic. It's not. It's okay. So all of the demon devil stuff is magic of some kind, but this is not the language of hell that they usually speak in. This is actually, as you listen to it, it's gibberish. Okay, you make a fighting roll. You roll it on Shift Z. Okay, you rush forward. It's a green by 2. You needed a 37. Oh, shift 500 is what I meant to say. Shift Z is what it used to be called. You grab him and stop the incantation. You pull him forward, and his head rolls back, and he comes back and forth and bounces a couple times. And it's a giant yellow unicorn with big swirly eyes, and it smiles at you, and then it bursts into a million flowers. And the man's hands grab hold of your arms and grabs you hard and says, "Brother, you know what you dream." As it speaks from the flowers that fall down, they all develop mouths, and the guy's like, "It's you." The kid. I don't know. I can't see that far. As he laughs. Not even you can tell it's not malicious, but you look back and the kid is disappeared. I didn't do it. I just gave a little bit of advice as the last flower hits the ground, and then they dissolve into a whirlwind of rainbows. He's yeah, nothing. You can't pick him up telepathically. And as you say that, you hear the screams of horror as you look over to the far side, and the eastern continent is burning as Gaius is leading legions forward and exterminating everything in his path. He says, "Death to the demon worshippers! Death to everyone who's allowed it to happen! Death comes for us all!" Right. He's butchering people, putting people to the sword, but it's a conquest. Like it's not like genocide. It's pretty genocide. It's medieval genocide, but yes. Yeah, and anybody who he or his people believe may have assisted in it, and since the world was so corrupt, you know, you can just say, "Oh, that person was a demon worshiper," and they're like, "Okay, chop."
If a village, if the village had
Yep. And he's like, "Think about your parents. We lost them to these people, and we'll teach them what it means." So you're gonna go beat him up?
I'm going to
As you do that, you see Vulcan appear next to you. He seems to have learned your abilities to move as well, and moves almost as fast as you. He says, "Stop! You can't kill Oh, and you say Gaius. He's like, "My lord," he vows. I heard my child, Antonius. He's been killed.
And someone brought the orders for you to these guys. Unimaginable. You must find them. You must at least be able to translate and manipulate these messages. Yet, I cannot be everywhere at all times.
He goes, "Yes, I'll do it," and he rushes off.
Yeah.
And by rushes off, I mean he moves at the speed of light. So he looks at you and he says, "You are the prime brother." He bows slightly and he says, "Where were you when we needed you?" As he points his sword at you. He doesn't know that. As you hold the sword and you point it at him, you feel a strange energy start to emit from the sword, a powerful magic.
Yeah. I would not question the people who have found a solution to your problems.
The only solution can be blood,
Yes.
and I will solve the problems that you and your lapdog couldn't. Where were you when the innocents were harmed before? You call yourself a god, but you're nothing but a coward.
That's probably what's wrong with it.
Everybody's whispering as they talking about that. They're like, the god said he is fair. Oh, Gaius is talking out loud. So you answer telepathically, so they can't hear you. Yeah. Gaius turns back and he says he admits it. He says he is a coward. He's too afraid to even use his voice before us. He is not a god. He's not worthy of our worship. No. I refuse. I will stay here with my people. Don't try to bribe me, you devil. He's made his statement. He says, if you are here to fight, then I shall accept your challenge. And even if I die here, I die a martyr. And he raises his sword and they're like, yeah!
To be clear,
Hell makes you a devil. So, yeah. Mm, you're devil. You're just a devil. Yeah. He's using you as a. He's already got his preconceived notions of you and is incredibly suspicious. And additionally, he's using you as another figure to take down. And he refuses. He's not going to take it. He's here to fix the earth. All right, the battle begins. You ready? Roll for initiative. Okay, White. On me. You have better initiative, so you go first.
I'm gonna bet he doesn't have my sword.
Um, let's see. Okay, go for it.
I will.
You said you got a green. Oh, you rolled for 2 attacks. You didn't get it, and then you got a green. Okay. What's your fighting?
With the sword.
No, normally.
Normally it's a game.
Okay. Uh, he gets a yellow as he swings in and he takes his sword and he sees swings at you and it tries to parry your blow with his and your sword cuts clearly through his, but he ducks underneath of it and hits you in the hands and knocks you back a couple steps. He's very skilled but seems to lack the raw ability. But as he watches you move, his eyes go wide. He says, "Why do your moves look so familiar, Prime brother? Who are you? Why do you look like me?" He says as he's close to you. He gets 2 attacks, I think. Oh, nope, he needed 1 more. Okay. Alright, so then he gets another sword and takes it and then, boom, cuts at you. He swings with all of his might, and you jump over top of it. And you look back in horror as his swing cleaves the mountain behind you in half, and the force of the swing cuts the atmosphere for a second as it shoots out into space. And you see like a ripple throughout the galaxy. And everyone goes, What's going on here? And Gaius says, I have the powers of a god as well, everyone, and I will see this false one be killed. This planet is going to be destroyed if you do not get him off of it, 100%. He does not have the control to not hit the planet on accident.
Yeah.
Because he's not ever tried to use his powers to their full potential.
Yeah. So.
Okay, green and a white, and you got a yellow and a yellow.
Yeah. So based on that, is there anything I can do to get him off it besides just use like
You could punch him and slam him. It will. Yes. You could push him into space. Okay, let me make it. What's your endurance and your strength? What's your strength, actually? And he gets a white. Boom! You send him rocketing out as he shoots out and he bounces off the moon and lands out into the depths of outer space. And you go and jump up. You know, the ground underneath you makes a massive crater, and the legions are like, "Ah, run away!" As they see the two of you disappear into space. As you land up there, you see these looks around like this, and he flexes his hands, and he says, and it comes at you. He comes at you faster and stronger than before. I knew you were after me. I could. Oh yeah, you use second attack. Yeah, cut him. How much damage did you do? 50?
Okay. So that'd be 70. Okay, so he comes at you fast and hard and boom, swings a punch at you. He says, I knew you were watching me. I could feel it in my mind. He gets 2 attacks. He seems to be rapidly improving. And Clea says, what is going on here? Green and green. Alright, so he comes at you on the first one, and you duck past him, and then boom, stab him in the chest. It pierces out the other side. He grabs hold of the handle and pushes you back. He comes at you on the with a low kick, and you jump over top of it, and then elbow him, but he catches it with his hand, and it slides backwards across the surface of the moon. Clea says, what's going on here? The whole place is shaking.
Lots of bad news, Cleo. Lots of bad news. I hope you have a nice and you start practicing this
What's your regeneration rank? She says, "Yeah, I can do that, but it'll take a while. I had the other ones. Well, yeah. 1 second. I'm in the middle of setting up these auras. Okay. So what are your stats total now? What are your normal stats? Yeah, top 4. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Your turn. You see his wounds recover, and he looks down at it, and comes at you again. As he comes at you, you try to throw a punch into his stomach, and he sees it and jumps, pushes his hand down, and flips over top of you. Throws an elbow back as a backspin, and you try to draw. You turn at the same time and spin and cut at with your sword. The blow strikes you hard in the so 74 gets 2, 77 against the 28. He defeats you as the blow strikes you in the side of the head. You are sent flying backwards, and then the next one he goes for a lunging tackle. 50 on is a green. And you got a green, so he grabs you and kind of slams you into the ground, but then you spin backwards and kick him up into the air. He flies up into space and just kind of levitates there for a second. You take 50 damage, 35 and 15. Same as normal. Same as normal. Yep. Okay, and then Clea says, the spell is coming undone. Vulcans are... Yeah, she was blocking them, remember? All of them. She was making them all weaker.
So we need to stop this?
I can't get away from this right now, or the very heart of this reality will implode.
Okay, stick with your thing. I'm handling this.
Okay, go for it. So yeah, you rush forward and you fake it with a punch, and he ducks underneath it, and then you try to slash him in the stomach, and he lunges backwards, dodging the blow. He then
drops down onto one knee and looks like he's about to lunge for a tackle. I got no white on 2 attacks, so nothing. And then he jumps up and into an uppercut into your chin for 35.
Another 15, so it takes 6 damage.
As he gets hit, he's like, "What's? How are you so durable? What is this made out of?" As he throws another punch, and you're, yep. As he punched you in the jaw, you see the moon below you explode from the force of the impact, and you get sent backwards, and you bash through one of the outer planets in the solar system, the gas giant. Then it ignites and burns like a massive star in the sky.
Sure. I think that he understands what's happening, and like now having to like everything that like
Oh, you made an attack roll, right? Oh, okay. We'll find out. Nothing. I have nothing that I hold dear left. They're all dead, and you did nothing. They're all better off dead. If you're going to interfere in my divine work. Unless him and Vulcan fight, in which case. Okay, the first blow comes in. He takes your arm and elbows you in the side of the head, knocking you over to the side. He grabs hold after the second blow and tries to yank the sword from you, but you kick him in the top of the thigh and flip backwards. He closes the ground on you rapidly and gets through 2 attacks and gets a 28 is a white, I believe. 28 is a green. Okay, he goes boom and slams you backwards. You go flying backwards, and another gas giant implodes. And then he goes follows up, and another one blows, and the shockwave goes boom, boom. And you see that look back, and the star wobbles up and down as the vibrations from your impact are starting to affect the whole reality. He seems to have reached his full potential. 35 and 35. He still doesn't know spells, but he has everything else that you have. Okay. Nice. Let's see. He healed 24, so that would put him at 57. He has no armor, so. I mean, he has armor. He had like Legion armor, but it was butter to you. Okay, so you dropped 6 ranks. So you are at what's your fighting now? Spectacular, right? So remarkable a yellow, and a green. And then I got. Did I forget to roll? Yes, I did. A yellow and a yellow. So the first blow comes in, you swing down and you lop into one of his arms, it falls off to the side, and it starts to regenerate. He's not willingly growing another one, so another one doesn't appear. Uh, and that does 17 damage. Okay? And then the second blow, you swing trying to lop his legs off, slow his mobility, but he leaps over top of it and then punches you with the bare arm. Roll to dodge. With the -6.
It's not green though.
Okay, first one was a white, and the second one was a red. So the second one, boom, decks you. As you get hit in the side of the face, you smash into the last planet. Now there are only 4 planets left in your system. The force from your slash went through and it cut through the middle of the sun for a second. And it was such a vicious blow. As you look back, the sun goes and it starts to turn red. You've hit the last planet, and then you were pushed almost all the way back to the limits of the solar system. So he did 40 points on the second hit. Well, you don't. You regenerate all but 8. Yeah. I'm going to make a roll to see how many more rounds you have until the dimension collapses. 3 rounds. Okay. Well, you don't. You can't get it. You roll remarkable for 2 attacks, so you didn't get it. So 1 attack, and I got a white. Vulcan says, "I'm on my way. He'll be here in next round." Okay, and you rush forward and you bisect him, and he grabs hold of his legs and pulls himself back together. And you do 40. He goes, oh yeah, you upped it. So that goes up 3 more ranks to 45, 50, 60. He goes, and he goes, as that last slash comes through, and you see the 2 pieces of the sun then get quartered. As you look forward, you look back, and he goes, he floats there, passed out. The 4 pieces of the sun grow larger and larger, and heat and energy starts to erupt from them. Clea says, "I'm going to give this up. I have to fix the sun, or the whole planet will be doomed. Let's just pray that we can repair the damage before the whole of this reality is gone." I told you. So.
We're going sitting sun.
Brother, Seneca. Seneca's my brother? Well, I mean, he was father and his son, and he saw. I guess he saw you cut him off his fingers. So yeah, he goes. He says, "Okay, I'll find him as quickly as I can."
Because guys is probably worth keeping is my thought. But we just need to tie into a dimension. But maybe not. It's never happens more than
Clea comes out and she starts to cast the spell, but though she's trying to control the flames, it's not fast enough, and you see as the suns explode and the inner parts of the solar system are wiped out. You're Vulcan go, no, Diana, Seneca, and you hear no as their screams as all life in the system are destroyed. Clea is thrown backwards from the force of the blow and lands next to you. And Vulcan is sent out here as well. Clea's somewhat badly injured. And at that, the midnight of day 4 ticks. And this is the time for another invasion. But what you hear instead is the barriers between dimensions are the barriers preventing travel between dimensions are gone. You may enter another mage's realm. And you see Vulcan over there, he's laying, he's burned up, he's like slowly regenerating himself. Clea's really badly injured. And she pulls herself up and she says, we need to find assistance. We can't leave these two here though. Do you think he will forgive you? As she points at Vulcan. As Clea's like holding her side, she's burned up a bit and holding her arm that's like bloodied. Or they fight and destroy what's left of ours. I'm not even sure if we can. And she closes her eyes, and you see Gaius stop regenerating. Do you think Vulcan can be saved? And you still look for Seneca, but it looks like his powers were not developed enough to survive. If you think he can be redeemed, then take him to the realm of the gods. Benny. You were greedy. Or the third, fourth, and fifth ones. He was as powerful as you, Benny. And she then like levitates the other one, and you see magical energy start to pierce him until he's incinerated. She seems to have somehow turned his brain off, and then and she waves her hand and opens a portal for you to go into the god realm. Yeah, his eyes have come open, they're bloodshot. Diana. My children. My friends. As his face starts to come away from being all crusty.
I look at Vulcan and I
He looks around. He looks at you a bit angry, but then he nods and says, "I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't your intention. It was Gaius's fault. Where is he?" As he pulls himself up. He looks around, and the gods that are here are a bit fearful as they see the two of you, and they hear you give their home to this individual. He looks at you like what? What are you talking about? I said he looks at you like what? What are you talking about? He says the Lord of Dreams, Dream Dweller is not your brother, or the Dream. Yeah, he says the Dream Dweller is not your brother. Yes, to you. Yes. He looks a bit surprised by that as he's standing. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Uh, he thinks back to what you showed him, and he's like, oh, I thought you were creating us. You clearly beat Gaius. You must be greater than us. Um, you know these. Clea didn't tie him to this dimension. She just said, "Let him go there." She, for whatever reason, she didn't. You can ask her about it if you'd like, but he nods. I'll do what I can. And he looks back out as he misty eyed and off in the distance. He thinks about his lost parents, family, grandfather, loved ones, children. And you and Clea leave. You go to the next nearest planet, leaving Vulcan and the gods in charge of protecting the place. Vulcan, before you leave, you spend an hour or so observing. Seems to distance himself and let them go about their own business, and like lives alone in a beautiful heavenly glade. Um, and you guys leave, having deciding to entrust in him, and you go to the nearest place in beginning of day 4. No, beginning of day 5, and you visit the nearest place near you, and it's Carnaxa and Pangea, and you see Carnax, and you're afraid you were going to meet someone who was going to be your opponent. You instead meet these two, and Clea has to cajole and work on Carnaxa for a while to convince him to ally with you two. And there you see that Carnaxa and has reordered the whole planets of his system, moving planets around, causing the planet to fall in an ice age. Apparently, they made a second sun that now orbits the primary planet. The population's tiny, but they've been subjugated to inhumane magical experiments and transformed into a race of like super god-like beings. They don't much compare to your twin, but your clone, but they are probably like class 1000 in everything. So they're incredibly powerful. And the population here is and the remaining of these people. So he had like transformed a bunch of them, and then he took in the gods and the demons, and he's destroyed their realms and stole the gods and demons and merged them with the race of superhumans they made to create these entities. And so these people have like a halo on one side and a horn on one side. Yeah, and they are, and Pangea is there just like constantly drilling them. Like as you guys watch him like throw meteorites from the sky down at these people as they live in the ruined fallout world of this magical catastrophe. And that is how you spend most of day 4 there or 5 there, uh, and come to make an alliance with them, and you in day 6 or going into day 6, and you decide to team up. They leave. They decide on who's going to stay behind, and there is Clea and Carnaxa develop a wormhole like tunnel between your guys' 2 dimensions, and that is how you spend most of day 5 without any significant issues. But you do see at the beginning of day 4 announcements. Dr. Druid is defeated, and Dr. Druid loses in an invasion of her planet. Then magic invades a dimension and is defeated. Phantasma invades Delilah and Daybreak's dimension and defeats them. Phantasma then loses in a fight. Proteus and is defeated in day 5, and Proteus and Entuma are also defeated. We're significantly reducing the number of individuals, and that is day 5. And so you're caught back up. Why don't you tell me what you think you would like to do, and then I will use that to narrate your actions when we're up next time. So I rolled their traits randomly. So I got Gaius was very suspicious. Seneca so I rolled whether they got when you did bad on the foretelling. I leaned towards bad traits. Vulcan was perfect. He was just a great guy, right? Because you did so well, and there was everything went well for you. And then Gaius, you didn't do well on, and I rolled a bad trait. And then the next 2, you didn't do as good as you needed to. So I randomly rolled their traits, right? And I rolled a good trait for the first brother and a bad trait for the second brother. And then I knew the Dream Dweller was crazy, so he convinced the second one to kill first. If you had given Gaius the planet and convinced Vulcan, been able to convince Vulcan to do it, and if Clea hadn't rolled a 17 on her Save the Sun roll, yeah, he was down. He was down to 33 at one point. If you just hit him one more time, it would have been over. And if you, and if Clea hadn't rolled a 17, you guys would have still had a chance to save the world. Yeah. Yeah. There's still a material realm. Space still exists, and there's debris of all the planet and people. They're not that powerful actually. So nobody in there can. Nobody in there can. There's no planets that will ever be formed. So actually, I guess Gaius could probably form it. So we will. What are you thinking you'd like to do? And we'll pause it and we'll go over some stuff. I mean, Gaia Vulcan can still re-enter the realm. That's why she didn't entrap him. And you convinced Vulcan pretty well. That was a pretty good talk, I think. So you got him to he's willing to take up the talent. Yeah, and he's just as good as you. He just can't. He's not as durable. So. Benny's going to convince him to go on the offensive. Okay. Okay. Oh, and one other thing. While that fifth day is going on, while you are tired for the first time in a long time since you've started this, and you fall asleep, and in that dream, you see Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange says something to you, but you can't hear him. And then when you awaken, you see a spirit, ghostly form of him near you. Yeah. I told Speed when I talked to him that you would find this out around now. So.
I had a dream about that.
Ah. Well, not only do you see a dream of him, he tries to communicate to you in the dream, but when you awaken, you still see him.
Yeah.
But he can't speak to you at all.
So then I would actually
Okay. Okay.
I think that is more exciting than so.
Okay. And then that should be only part of maybe most of day 6. Is there anything you want to try to do on the final day?
Um, the good news is to stop
So you'll on day 7 you'll look to team up. Okay, so I would like to try to get one more game in here and get this wrapped up before CritCon. But maybe we will do it at CritCon if that's what it takes. Saturday afternoon. We'll have to do afternoon so James can do it. I'll see what everybody's doing on Saturday.
yeah.
Or Maybe. Oh wait, we don't need to have James. He got knocked out already. Him and Rebecca got knocked out. So we just. What are you doing on Thursday night?
I'm on.
Okay, because that's when Aaron. That's when. Well, I'm going to end the recording here.